So, what if I told you that you actually have more than five senses? Well, turns out you have eight. And today, we're going to dive into how understanding this hidden world can totally transform our classrooms and workplaces for every single brain out there. Just take a second and really put yourself there. It's a pretty powerful image, right? And this isn't just some dramatic what-if scenario. For a lot of people, this is a window into their everyday reality. It's an incredible way to get a feel for what it's like to navigate the world when your brain processes sensory information differently. Because for many children, that feeling, that constant, draining, overwhelming chaos isn't a hypothetical horror movie. It's just Tuesday morning. This is the daily reality for countless students with sensory processing differences. And that right there leads to this fundamental, really important shift in how we think about this. Before we can even start talking about solutions, we have to reframe what we think we're seeing. Because so often what looks like misbehavior, it's not. It's neurology. Yeah, think about the words we use. Fussy, naughty, inattentive. These all sound like choices, don't they? But what if they're not? Very often, what we're seeing is an involuntary neurological response. It's not a character flaw. It's a nervous system basically screaming for help in a world that's just too loud, too bright, or too chaotic. Okay, so to really get this, we need to kind of upgrade our own sensory toolkit. Most of us were taught in school that we have five senses. Well, turns out that's not the whole story, not by a long shot. We all know the classic five, right? Sight, hearing, smell, touch, and taste. These are our windows to the outside world. But get this, there are three more hidden senses, and these are the unsung heroes of how we function. They manage our internal world, and believe me, they are absolutely critical. So what are they? First up, your vestibular system. It's in your inner ear, and it's basically your body's gyroscope, managing balance and your sense of movement. Then there's your proprioceptive system. Think of this as your body's silent architect. It's how you know where your limbs are without looking and how much force to use. And finally, interoception. This is your body's inner voice, letting you know when you're hungry, thirsty, or even feeling anxious. Now, these three hidden senses aren't just bonus features. They are the absolute bedrock that all higher-level learning is built on. I mean, think about it. If your brain is constantly struggling just to process balance, body awareness, or its own internal signals, how can it possibly have the resources left over for complex tasks like reading and writing? The simple answer is, it can't. So, how do these differences actually show up in real life? A great way to picture it is to think of a volume control knob in the brain that's either turned way, way up or way down. And this really illustrates the two main patterns. On one side, you have hypersensitivity, where the brain is over-responsive. The world feels too loud. A clothing tag can feel like barbed wire, and normal classroom noise can be physically painful, triggering a fight-or-flight response. On the other side is hyposensitivity, where the brain's under-responsive. The world feels too quiet. This brain actually craves input, which is why you see sensory-seeking behaviors like constant fidgeting, rocking, or humming. They're just trying to turn the volume up to a level where they can finally focus. And sometimes, these sensory signals get scrambled on their way to the muscles. This can lead to a condition called dyspraxia. It's this really frustrating mismatch where the brain knows what it wants to do, catch a ball, write a letter, but it just can't get the body to execute the plan smoothly. The wires get crossed, basically. You know, understanding all this is a complete game changer. It moves us from a place of judgment to one of curiosity. We stop asking, why won't they behave? And we start asking, what does this person's nervous system need right now to feel safe and regulated? That question changes everything. So, once we understand the problem, what's the solution? Well, here's the best part. It's not about trying to fix the person, it's about fixing the environment. It's about thoughtful, sensory-inclusive design. And the solutions here show just how simple some of these changes can be. For example, instead of those harsh, flickering fluorescent lights, we can use natural light or simple light covers. Instead of cluttered walls that create visual chaos, we use minimalist displays. Instead of rigid, uniform chairs, we offer flexible seating like wobble stools or cushions. These aren't complicated fixes, but their impact can be transformative. The principles are beautifully simple. First, you subtract the overload. Turn down the visual and auditory noise. Second, you add strategically. Create calm zones and provide useful sensory tools. And third, you embrace flexibility. Just recognize that humans aren't built to sit rigidly still for hours on end. But here's the crucial thing. This isn't about creating special accommodations for just a few people. This is all based on a powerful idea called universal design for learning. The whole concept is that when you design for those with the most specific needs, you actually create a better environment for everyone. It's just like curb cuts on a sidewalk. They were designed for wheelchair users, right? But they also help parents with strollers, travelers with luggage, and kids on bikes. In the same way, a calmer classroom doesn't just help a student with sensory sensitivities, it reduces the cognitive load for every single student, helping everyone focus better. We focused a lot on the classroom, but this idea is so much bigger. What if we applied these principles everywhere? To our offices, our public spaces, our cities? What if our world wasn't built for one typical brain, but was thoughtfully designed to work for every brain? What would that world feel like?